Radio. The show is Prudent Woman. Thank you for joining us this evening. You are with myself, Rhulani Baloyi. I'm your host as we continue with our show, and we're still celebrating our 6 months journey. Last week, we had a great time celebrating our 6 months. All we saw was the grace of God, and I would like to believe you are learning together with myself. We are becoming prudent ladies through the different shows that we're having, the sacrifices from the different professionals who come through to our show. Tonight, I'm not all by myself. I have with me wonderful ladies, and I also have the special guest that I announced that we're going to be having this evening. You'll know the special guest as we continue, but I'd like to come back to you. I trust that some of you have already seen our winners. Remember last week, as we're celebrating the 6 months of our journey, we had wonderful vouchers from Madimela Investment, and we also had a wonderful voucher from Masana Dietitians. We have our 3 winners. They've already been contacted, and they were excited to be the winners. And I would like to say to some of you who did not win, please bear with us. We could only have so many winners, but I would like all of you to join me this evening as we celebrate our 3 winners. The first one was Lebu Libuani. She won a voucher for a massage, and we also at Living Leaves. And then we also had Mama Islands Vuma. She also won a voucher for a massage. But I know I'm saying only 3 winners, but all of you are winners. Remember, last week, Living Leaves Spa also honored us to say anyone who had been watching the show, you are welcome to go through to their spa. When you get there, tell them you are from Prudent Woman, and you automatically get your 10%. So we are all winners, isn't it? And our last winner was Bongi Springbok. She won a NutriBoost combo from Masana Dietitian. Let us say clap hands for them. We appreciate you, ladies, and we appreciate all of you who continuously join our show. Every Sunday, I've seen ladies who are, faithful to joining this show. And the show can only be because they are listeners. There are those who are following us. And we'd like to still appreciate you and say, all of you, we are encouraging you to continue and join us on YouTube. And we're saying, please subscribe so that you do not miss anything that we air on Bold Moves Radio. Because once you have subscribed, you automatically get a notification, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's free of charge. All you need to do is just click the subscribe button. And yes, thank you for all of you who are continuously joining us on Facebook, and those of you who are on Bold Moves Radio. We understand that you are not in a position to drop down your comments because our show is all about interacting. We'd like to hear more from our listeners. But those who are listening to us on Bold Moves Radio, you are welcome. Drop your comments on 081-358-8745. That is our WhatsApp number. Yes, tonight you have seen the poster. We are talking to ladies who are in the reading business. And we're saying it is through books that you'll be able to find a better version of yourself. And finding a better version of yourself can never be equated to anything. It's all about getting to know who you are. And tonight, before we embark on the journey with these ladies from Finding Me Book Club, I would like to introduce the special guest who is just here to come and introduce something wonderful to us. I told you when we're celebrating our 6 months that, it is through the works of this woman that I rose up and said, let me find myself. And I could find myself in the space of being a presenter. I do not have the knowledge, but just to get all these professionals to come together and teach us, take us through to become prudent women. And I'm becoming a prudent woman because of this show, but it was because of the seed that this woman has sown. I'm not talking about any other person, but I'm talking about Pastor Joylene. She's my mentor, she's my spiritual parent, and tonight I'm excited to introduce her as she introduced something wonderful that she has. Last night in Polokwane, we had the She Millionaire Business Awards, and I am excited tonight. This for me, it cannot be anything but a testimony, because she comes here, she's got an award that she wants to introduce this evening to all of you. And I think this is a testimony to say, when you listen, when you allow yourself to be taught, you become teachable. When you allow other people who have walked before you to follow their steps, you can get somewhere. So for me, this is it's a testimony to say, Prudent women, we are following the footsteps of a giant. Pastor Joylene, you are welcome this evening.
Thank you so much, Prudent Woman, for having me once more this week. And it's my honor to be here.
Thank you, Mama. It's more our honor. I believe all the Prudent women, all our followers know the impact that you have had for this show to be where it is. It is because of your leading, of your leadership in my life, of what you continually sow in my life. I would like to give you an opportunity, Mama. Please introduce to us the gift that you have. And I know, this woman, she's a very busy woman. I know she's tired. Last night she came back early hours of the morning. So I will not want us to keep her long, but I just want us to learn from what she had gone through for her to deserve the award that she has.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's difficult not to say Rhulani, but we have to train ourselves. She's hosting a very powerful a program which is not limited to Tsonga, Shangan speaking people or people who knows her. Let me say thank you so much, Rhulani, for having me tonight. And I am here. I am so excited. And I don't even want to take much time because I know we've got powerful guests that have honored our show tonight. I'm here, ladies, to present to you what you have voted for. And that is the award that yesterday we won. Let me say we won, me and you won as the Abigails, the community builder of the year that was awarded by She Millionaire Business Summit and Awards 2022. And I'm saying to all the Abigails, thank you so much. These are our efforts because together we can do something great and powerful. And I want to say, Rhulani, on what you just said, let me just say who and what is Abigail. Abigail Arise is our empowerment, women empowerment organization that we was born on 2016. And it's an NPO that seeks or strive to empower women in different areas of life. And you are very right when you say it was because of a seed that was planted in you, because in Abigail, we strive to help and to encourage women to discover who they are, what they carry in them, because we believe each one of us, there is something inside us which, if we can release it, it can benefit the whole nation. Yes. Not only women alone, but also our families, our children, because we have called in different sectors or different areas. And it is my submission to say, as we have seen a Prudent woman starting, it took her courage as she was trained, as she was empowered, as she was equipped as an Abigail, because she's an Abigail. Now, when she was equipped as an Abigail, she digged in her mind and realized, no, man, there is a Prudent woman. And look at how it is benefiting all of us today. We are so empowered with the different topics that you are always hosting through different guests that comes to the show. And I am saying, I still want to submit to all the women, beyond Manata Banekel, because Abigail Arise is not for Manata Banekel women only. We have got members all over in different provinces. And I want to say there is something in you. Just arise.
Yes.
Tell yourself, yes, I may have been beaten down last month or last year, but I am ready to arise and continue with that which God has trusted in me. Yesterday, I was so inspired. I felt I've
Yes.
not done anything.
Yeah.
When I saw the women recognized, and also the owner or the founder of She Millionaire, Mendy, I was so inspired to say, wow, this hall is packed because of a woman and because of an idea that dropped in this woman. Look at how she has packed this hall. Look at how she's recognizing the works that different women are doing out there. Because most of us, when we do things like this, we are not doing for recognition, but we're doing because there is a push inside to touch somebody and to impact somebody's life. So I want to say, Sister Rhulani, thank you so much. And to you, the Abigails, I want to say, please, 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 if you have fallen because of COVID-19,
Yes.
arise, because we are moving forward. We are not to retreat. We are to come down from our horses and be humble in serving the heritage of God. So this award is dedicated to you, all the Abigails. I was not the only one nominated. And I wanted to forget something. You see, be a key or a door opener for somebody out there. Or it's either a sister or whoever. Because the person who nominated me, she just saw and recognized what I'm doing and it nominated me. I was not keen, when she told me, but she said, please, Mama, I need to submit your profile because I'm recognizing what you are doing. And as she submitted, look at what we are having today. Thank God from the Abigails, there is another award. Unfortunately, she's not here, but she's a woman in construction, and that is our queen, Nyamuope Masia, and who won that award. Back to the Abigails. And it was not the two of us as nominees only, but we had another nominee, our sister Abigail Magala, and the little Abigails, the two Abigails in modeling. So because of somebody who opened the door, I'm saying you, Abigail, be there. No, you are there for a reason, to open a door for someone so that you announce them and be known of the works that they're doing. Thank you so much. I don't want to say a lot tonight.
No, thank you so much, Mama. We appreciate it, and we appreciate even the Abigail that opened the door for you. As you rightfully say, every time you teach us to say, Joseph had to have someone to announce him. We can just imagine if the fellow prisoner did not announce Joseph, what will have happened? Prudent woman will not be here if you did not announce me, So all of us, we need someone to announce you. Even the president, he needs someone to announce him.
Very true.
Because the president, even if he had dreamed that he must be the president, if the people who are supposed to vote do not vote him, he will never become the president. So there is no one who's above everyone. That's how I would like to believe life is, So you need other people around you, but it is your works that should announce you. And how do you become such a great person? How do you now have works that speaks for you? It is only when you open your heart. I will never forget, I went to Zimbabwe, and the owner of one big bank there, I was in a session with him. He said something that has touched me forever. He said, in life, it must not be about making money. It must be that you continuously look for problems in the society that you are in, and then look for solutions, and money becomes a byproduct. And he said, that's how I started my bank. And I could imagine how much all of us can be impacted if we were to take life in that way, you know. Look at you, Mama, with the Abigail, the work that you are doing, how much you have impacted us. You did not say it is well with me, this church, and I have my children in church, but you go further and impact other ladies through your ministry. And I would like to say, I know because I go around with you, even lady pastors, even pastors' wives, whenever we have sessions like that with them, of course, I sit at the back and listen. And I'm privileged, you know, because I am able to go with them. But the things that you teach them, and when I go back home, it taught me to respect other people, not to take people for granted and say they are there, they do not need your support. So your work that you are doing has touched me, and I would like to believe it has touched all the Prudent women. Thank you so much for being in the show. We
Okay.
appreciate. And maybe one thing that we're about to forget is that one of the board members of She Millionaire, it's
Yes.
one of the Abigails
Yes, I
in
wanted
this
to
house,
close with that.
and she's also a resident professional within Prudent Woman. I know
Yes.
tonight she may not be watching, but she's always here. She may not be watching because she's traveling, but we take pride, you know. It means our works is bearing fruits. Your works, Mama, are bearing fruits. You know, we cannot say you should rest because we still want you. I don't think I've arrived, so we still need you, but we appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Sister Rhulani. And you are talking of Queen Tsakani Mpofu. You know, when I passed my phone to my daughter there, it was her calling. I believe she traveled well from here to Gauteng because she will be traveling tonight. I want to say thank you. And to all the Abigails, thank you so much for your votes. We wouldn't have won this award if you did not sacrifice your 3 rands, your 100 rands, your 500 rands, and saying this is our campaign. We are going all out. And I also want to say, based on what you said, this coming Saturday we will be having the pastors' wives at Farm Life. I decided just to host them from Kambako. Pastor Frida, she's coordinating that, just to have a session with them to say, you know, after COVID, nobody is talking to pastors' wives, and we are in the forefront, taking every issue that is brought to us in the process. You are criticized, you are not received well. But I said, you know what? Let me start with a few that I will, and we sit down, not on a seminar or preaching. We are showing each other our scars so that we are encouraged and rejuvenated to continue serving the people of God. Thank you so much. It was my honor to be here. Bye bye.
Thank you, Mama, and all the best with the lady pastors on Saturday. Yes, of course, I'll be a fly there. And thank you very much. That was our special announcement. Uh, and this says, you know, when you rise up to do that which you feel God has called you, you can make it. But it is only when you equip yourself that you are able to rise up. I would like to introduce this evening my guests, our guests from Finding Me Book Club. And what is nice is she's also a nominee for the She Millionaire. She was a nominee for Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year. Cecile Tabiseni. I have here with me here on studio, and I also have Cecile Munyai. Cecile Umpemeti Munyaye. My apologies. And then on Zoom, we have my former varsity mate, Osman Tai. And then we also have Austidi. She's there with, they are here joining us this evening as we continue to become prudent women. You know, as I've said, this show is about having different professionals, different characters coming in and empowering us on different life skills, on different things. You know, we have spoken about health issues, financial matters, legal, but tonight, something that I know not all of us are fond of, you know. It's unfortunate the fourth industrial revolution has brought in TV. We now have, it's Netflix, you can watch things the whole day, your 24 hours. I know people who do not even sleep because they are watching and they're exciting things. But I always ask myself, what is it that you will have benefited? Will it have motivated you to rise up and become like Bo Pastor Joylene, who stand up and have organizations that change people's lives, who stands up and watch what are the challenges in society so that they can make an impact and become prudent in the way you take your decisions because you are empowered. So tonight, from the book club, Finding Me Book Club, I have Cecinta saying she's the founder of the book club, and of course, her colleagues within the book club. We are going to be talking about reading books, the benefits of reading.
Mhm.
I know when I say this, maybe I'm not fond, people are not fond of it, but stay with us. At the end of this show, it's my desire that all of us, we should be able to say, tomorrow I'm going to buy a book. And it's much more simple today because you don't have to read the book sitting on a chair or on a table. You can read the book sleeping on your phone. That's how Fourth Industrial Revolution has translated us. So Cecinta is saying, I would like to welcome you. Good evening.
Good evening, Prudent woman. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And yeah, congratulations again to Pastor Joylene. Before I even go further about books, I want
Yes.
to speak about an organization called the Human Library. As she was narrating her story and her testimony, she is like a human library. It's an organization that was founded whereby they just take people from different fields or different aspects of life, and you sit across on a table with a person and then you speak about your life. They ask you questions. So reading is so broad. If you Google, you will find something called the Human Library, which is something that opens us up to a lot of knowledge, a lot of growth and development. But yeah, I just wanted to say that as I was listening to her, I felt that, I'm sitting in front of a human library. She's narrating a story and I'm listening and I'm learning already. So reading has a lot of aspects that we really can follow. Yes.
So Cecinta was saying you founded Finding Me Book Club.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start such a book club?
Okay, yeah, I love that question. I've been reading from a very young age. I always say I thank God that my mother bought me that there was books called Winnie the Pooh. I was
Yes.
very young, it was a bookcase. I think it
Yes.
had 10 books on it, and she bought it for me. I think the love just started from there. I've been reading my whole life, and I realized that through books I have grown, through books I have done a lot of things. And coming to why I decided to start the book club, it was actually initiated during COVID, where we were watching a lot of Netflix, a lot of Showmax, and as a book lover, you just gravitate towards reading. Yes, I watch Netflix, I watch Showmax and all those streaming services.
Of course, there's a need for a balance.
Yes. And then, but at the same time, I found myself, I remember actually when they announced that they're going to do the 21 days lockdown, I said, I need to get a book because, it was just automatic for me. I remember I bought the book and then I came back with it. But as I was reading it, I love what Pastor Jolene said because she was speaking about impacting others and planting a seed. I said, what is the point of me benefiting alone? Let me get a group of ladies so that we can start reading. So that is how it started. Yes.
So that's how the book club started.
Yes.
And I can just imagine those times. You remember when we were told we were going on lockdown, how majority of us went out.
Yeah.
I remember I went to some shop and there were no snacks. Looking back, I asked myself, what were we doing? And there were no games. But funny enough, as you are saying, books, they were still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me, that was a time that it opened my eyes to say, what type of a nation are we? Are we a reading nation? Or we are a nation that is excited by, just being entertained, someone saying things. At times, those very same things become toxic for us. You talk Netflix. I also happen to be one of those. And I found my family, all of us were watching one series that never stopped. And I had to stand up and said, we're no longer watching this one. It has taken 3 of our days, and I've realized that we never even were sleeping because all of us were just following it, and I could not see the end of it. And it had, you had to take a decision. It was intentional to say,
Yes.
not with my family.
Yes.
And because, even myself growing up, I did not have an opportunity to read books. That code that went from grade standard A until you are in standard 4 before you get into a class. And all that you could read was on the ground. When you have written and there's wind, a little bit of it erased everything. So you can just imagine. But the minute I caught fire in terms of reading books, I saw the benefit of reading, and I saw how important it is because it contributes to your mind. I read somewhere they said reading a book, it's similar to physical exercise, but reading a book, it is mental exercise. And I can attest to that. But I would like you to tell us, as a professional, someone who founded a book club, how much a book club contributes towards the exercising. We have a whole lot of clubs for running, but it's my desire through this show, ladies in Prudent Women, that let us also go into that area of exercising our mental capacity.
Thank you for that question. I would say, I would start by saying, I have my experience with books. The one that I read was Basitsana Kumalo, My Journey of Hope, the one I was speaking about on lockdown. So just picking up that book, I'm literally sitting across a table with Basitsana. She's narrating a story. She's advising me. She's making me to be a better woman. There are so many things that you picked up from any book. I believe I haven't found a book that I have not read that I have not picked up, any good thing that has made me a better person, be it emotionally, be it mentally, be it in business as well, and all that. Of course, also acknowledging the big book, which is the greatest book ever written. Muslim book, the Bible, there is just so much power in reading. I think also when God made sure that he writes his word and we read it, he had a plan and intention to change the world and his kingdom. So I would say that like the quote that you mentioned, that reading a book is an exercise. It needs discipline. There are days when I will say I'm gonna run today, and then I stop, and no one can force me. It's like eating between junk food and healthy food. You just have to choose and know that the output that is gonna come from the input of me reading books is gonna be greater. So I would say that.
And Prudent Women, we can be meeting here every Sunday, but I can just imagine if each one of us was to take an intentional decision and say, at any given time, I must be reading something. At times, it's not about reading until you finish 3 books, but just to have that one book, exercise your mental capacity. Some of us, that's why we end up not, you sit with people and you can feel, I do not have the desire, or I don't feel like I have anything inside me to be telling these people. And it's because you have not been exercising. Because when you are not exercising physically, if someone says go up 3 steps, you cannot do it. Then if you're not exercising mentally, you can never have a good discussion.
Very true.
And you find yourself empty. So we appreciate you, Sesinta, be saying, for taking that bold step, something that is not famous within our culture, a reading book club. It's not everyone. I'm sure you've approached quite a number of people. You say, come join me. And we don't want to join. Or sometimes we look at you with some, thinking, what do they say? You are a nerd or something, when they see you reading a book. I personally will go to a saloon with a book. I like reading my books electronically. And when I get there, my hairdresser knew she will find me reading, and she will be looking at it, reading what I'm reading. And she ended up getting bold and asked, you always come here with a book you
Yeah.
are reading.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I
Mm.
like reading
Mm.
because I've realized the reading spares you from a whole lot of things.
Yes.
You move away from a lot of things,
Mm.
but again, it trains you to think. It makes you to make good decisions because you learn lessons
Mm.
from reading.
Mm.
So I would like to believe your book club,
Mm.
it's about, when you do your reviews, I'm sure it's about putting what you have read into action.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can just take us through what will be the requirements for one to become part of your book club, and how will you go about it before I engage your
Okay.
members of your book club to hear from them how they've been benefiting from the book club.
Well, there are no qualifications required, just like gym. You know how we sign up for gym membership? They will just say, okay, we see the condition of your body, come in. But you just have to be willing to put in the work. There are times when you'll have people join and then they will exit the group because it's not, maybe beneficial to them. So there are really no qualifications or requirements, let me rather say, for joining our book
joining.
club. Well, it's for women. We have women. We've had a couple of men approaching us, but at this current state, the vision is just to have women finding themselves with every book that they read. It's either you find yourself in the business world, you find yourself in your marriage, you find yourself as a single parent, you find yourself. But all we are saying is, with every page that you read, may you find a better version of yourself. Yeah.
I'll want us to come back to that one, because before we started the show, I realized that you have read one book that I've also read, and I would like us to show to our audience what when we talk about putting what you have read into action, what it means. But I will want us now to go to Sesmantai. Sesmantai, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Sis Rhulani. My apologies, my network is acting up, so I'll end up really being on the neighbor's fence. I don't know what's happening with my Wi-Fi.
No, but we
But
can hear you now. It's fine.
yeah,
Thank you so much for coming through. You part of the Finding Me Book Club.
yes,
I
yes.
just want you to share with the ladies how have you grown by just becoming part of the book club?
Thank you so much, and greetings to you ladies there. Naturally, I'm one person. I'm a bookworm myself, so I like to read. And when they usually say birds of the same feathers, you
They
always
flock
attract. Yeah, like attracts like. You always attract people who think alike you, and because of the fact that I like reading, it has really brought me back. I'm reading too much. Am I really making it? Am I really doing it the right way? But at the same time, you tend to lack motivation. You get to read a book and you forget that book. You want to jump onto another book, just like that. But meeting other ladies who think alike, who read like I am, it's become easier because at the end of the day, we get to discuss how the book has impacted on our lives, as opposed to when I was reading it on my own. And also, I always keep saying to my daughters, only if the TikTok followers, Mzansi could have the same amount that is equivalent to the TikTok followers, that is equivalent to the readers, we would become such a better nation. But
Yes.
when we had the 2021 lootings, I saw the only shop that survived was Kum Books and Your Facts and Fiction. The rest were cleaned up. So it goes to show that there's a lot that still need to be done. We still need to spread the message across. It's either we start them young, we continue with them, and slowly, bit by bit. It's a big elephant. You have to chop it bit by bit until we get to finish it. So being part of the Finding Me book club, as the name says, is finding me. It has brought
Yes.
back to be me again, and to understand that it's okay to talk about what you've been bottling. The lockdown kept us quiet for so long, and you couldn't be in the company of the ones you love because of the lockdown. And that alone has caused so much damage psychologically and otherwise. So even if you read, you tend to give up. It's just too much. it's a lot. It's a lot. So being and the other thing being I hardly go out. So when I get to meet with these ladies, it's such a healing experience. You have no idea. You have no
Mm.
idea.
And a
Thank
meeting
you.
in safe space. And as you're saying, ladies, to say we are a nation that is not reading. And what is said is that I see that culture continuing with our children because for some reason we found it to be comfortable to put televisions in our children's bedrooms, to buy gadgets for our children but not monitor them. And I've seen it does not have to be like that. Yes, they have to have the gadgets because that is what today's education demands of them, but there must still be ways of you monitoring them. I would like you guys to share. I trust that within your book club, you also talk about this. How can one encourage young children, your children, into reading, for instance, not to study their books, but just to find something to read? How can one encourage them? Maybe I should ask our CD. Can you hear us? If you can just can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you, Suzuri. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for having us today. It's such an honor to be here with all the prudent women from the Big Book Club. So basically, for me, I think the most important thing as a parent that we need to do is to capacitate them at a very young age,
Yes. Mm,
because we live in a society where social media determines the way we live. It has
mm,
become a sort of a validation mechanism on our existence. So
mhm,
since I joined the book club, I've actually found myself. I feel like I've been lost for a very long time trying to find who I am. So
mm,
better because I am now instilling good principles to my daughter. I like what you said earlier that you love to read electronically. I think that's me
mm,
too. I'm an electronic reader because I think 80% of our time as humans on this planet, we are always glued up on our phones. So
mm,
for me, I find it very easy to actually have a phone and continue reading. So I have instilled the very same principle to my daughter to say, girl, you need to read every night before you go to bed on your gadget. So as for having a TV in a child's bedroom, I'm not really an advocate of it. However, to the parents who are doing it and who have done it, it's okay if it's working for them. But it's important that we instill good principles to our children, as we are paving
yes.
the future leaders, and you cannot be a leader if you don't have content. Content
Mm,
is very important. So, and you can only find content, a controlled content within books, but not on our devices, being it either a TV or watching YouTube. There is,
mm,
we had a discussion a few days with my husband where we were talking about the content that our kids see. And
mm,
during that, um, controlled and uncontrolled content. And unfortunately, we are so exposed to the uncontrolled content that we have lost ourselves. We don't even follow a good content if you could check, a gossip podcast is followed more
mm,
than a podcast that talks about
yes.
economic liberation. So we need to instill certain principles in our daughters or in our children, because it doesn't only have to be girls, it has to be all the
Mm,
children. So we need to capacitate them as much as we can with good content. So I advocate for reading
mm,
solely.
mm. Jacinta was saying when she was speaking earlier, she spoke about starting the love for reading through reading We Need a Pooh, you know. And I can just imagine when you've got such books, it's the same thing that our children watches on their
Mhm.
television. But now you are taking them bit by bit to start being able to read, and you can never take it away from them. From there, they will be able to read on different things, and be capacitated but yet exercising their mental capacity. I love it. It's like from tomorrow I should just be a member of your club. Because you meet in a very safe space where you are not talking, us ladies, when we meet, we talk about other things. But I can just imagine for a book club, when you meet, you already know what you're going to talk about, because you will have prescribed the book that you're going to be talking about and share amongst yourself. And I guess it widens the wealth of knowledge that one will have acquired, because when I read the book, I may get one angle that I'm focused on, but Sesimanza, I may get another one. Now we have Sesi Umpemeti. She's here with us on the studio. Sesi Umpemeti, you are welcome. And she's also part of the book club. Sesi Umpemeti, you've heard how your members of the book club are talking so well about your book club and the importance of reading. And I would like to believe that is the reason you are part of the book club. But, it's you ladies meeting. And I'm asking myself, I do not, as a woman, as a Prudent woman, I don't want to grow alone. I want to bring along everyone in my family. I want to take my children, my husband, everyone in my family, because it makes it fun and it makes it more beneficial. You don't want to grow and leave others behind. How will you say one should go about getting the whole family to be part of reading?
Okay, thank you so much, Sis Ruli, for having us as Finding Me Book Club. I believe children, they learn more in what they see compared to what we tell them to do. So I believe that if maybe my daughter see me going to a kumbuk and then just walking around those shelves and then finding a book that I would like to read, she also wants something to read as well. So I believe that if I buy myself a book, I must also buy for my daughter. I must also buy for my 4-year-old daughter something that maybe she can just write the names, tracing numbers and stuff. So if we are a reading nation, we also plant a seed to our next generation. We don't know what's going to happen, but if we plant a good seed, I think it's going to help a lot. It's not going to just benefit me, the Monyais family, but the nation as well. We don't know what God has instilled in our kids, but if we ask God to guide us in everything that we do, he will make the rest, and it will just flow.
Everything will fall into place.
Yes.
And I know someone may be asking themselves as they watch us to say, what, as ladies who are in the reading space, what will you say is the best book? For instance, we have different genres. I, for myself, I love reading biographies and political biographies. I like just getting through that, that's the work that I love. But I ask myself, between fiction and real life issues, how does one go about choosing? What will be your advice?
Okay, I believe that reading is after reading a book, you grow your personal growth. You just like, be it emotional, spiritual, and physical exercise. So let's say maybe you want to grow in the financial aspects of life.
Yes.
Reading a book like Think and Grow Rich, it will help you to maneuver around the financial issues. So I believe that it goes with what one is really going through in his or her life, so that the book that one is reading will enable you to navigate more into life, to have more understanding, a clearer mind of what needs to be done.
I see one of our readers here saying, how does one strike a balance between work or academic books and personal improvement and enjoyment? I know this is one of our Prudent ladies. She's a student.
Thank you.
Yeah. So she's asking, how does one strike a balance? And maybe let me add to the question to say, when we say we should be a reading nation, are we talking about reading books that are prescribed for your academic development? Or are we talking about reading, as you say, to say things that appeal to you? When I go to a shop, I should be able, let's say at that time, I feel I want to read something on political
I believe that it must be balanced.
Yes.
If we can advise anyone who's, let's say, writing the exams, instead of studying, and then we say go and read but the book of Finding Me, Viola Davis. But I think it's all about finding that, striking that balance between your academic and your social reading network books. Yes.
So there must be a
A
balance.
balance.
But it's very important that one must find books that appeal to them, you
Of
know.
course, yes.
I know when my son was very young, I will take him to a bookshop and said, I want to buy him a book. But he will always want a book that is so thin that he
finish
must
fast.
finish it fast and say, no, I've finished it yet. I was always discouraging. But with what you are saying, I understand. For one to have a culture, it must be built out of loving what you are doing.
Yes.
So probably I was doing it wrong to force him to take a voluminous book to say, no, you can focus on this one. You know, it's very interesting. I see one of us, it's saying, the beauty of reading is that the lessons and takeaways are different per individual. And when I was conversing with your founder, Sesintabi, saying, she indicated one thing that's very important in terms of reading is to be able to put what you have read into action, into practice, because it doesn't help to read and go away. So she indicated being part of a book club assists you to make sure that you put that in practice, because you meet with other people that you discuss and you are able to see things that you did not see, but also have those who assist you to get the lessons into practice. I will want to get back to Sesidi. Sesidi, how have you found the book club assisting you in terms of putting what you have read into action?
That's actually a very interesting question. You know, for me, I was a book lover to a certain extent, but I stopped. You know, we lose ourselves along the way because we don't have motivation. So being part of the book club has actually allowed me not only to read, you know, to do what I love, but to actually implement it in my life, you know, and make sure that it succeeds me as well. You know, it goes over and beyond me reading. So I try that in each and every single book that I read, the takeaway, I must actually implement it in my household. For instance, say you read a book that helps you to articulate yourself in public, you know, that, or rather that allows you or teaches you how to articulate yourself when you're speaking with your spouse, you know, because at times, you know, as women, emotions get the best of us. You end up saying things that you don't literally mean. But when you've read a book that teaches you how to still be submissive, irrespective of how wrong your partner is. So you try to implement those things, and your manner of approach, you know, you do it different. Best to make sure that in each and every single book that I read, I try to implement it in my livelihood, and for the best, you know, not just to implement, but a positive implementation strategy.
Because of course, when you are reading a book, sometimes there are negative things that the writer may want to narrate so that they can be able to pull out the positives that comes out. And when I was talking to you, since I was saying earlier, I said before we started the show, I was excited because you've read a book and you follow a writer that I love so much, Francine Rivers. And what's great is I was introduced by my daughter to this writer. And can you believe it? I've read all her books. Wow. And I keep on asking my daughter, please go and check, when is she releasing? Because she's so great.
Yes.
And it was through this book that I was able to find out that when you read a book, there are lessons that you take forth, and they should help you forever. That is redeeming love.
Yeah.
What would you like to say about redeeming love? I'm not selling for Francine Rivers, but the lesson that I got there, ladies, prudent women, I tell you, you read that book, you'll become prudent in your relationships, but above all, in your relationship with your partner. That's what I found out.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that question. It's quite a good book. I remember there was one author as well in South Africa, Jackie Kambonza, I think.
Yes.
She was asked a list of her favorite books, and Redeeming Love was also on that list. So it's a must read for all the ladies. Please make sure that you read the book. I will focus on forgiveness in the book, the fact that, and also I want to speak about a method. It's a Bible study method, but you can also use it when you are reading books. It's called the SOAP method. SOAP being the scripture that you are reading for that day. In terms of a book, you can say maybe it will be the paragraph or the page or the chapter that you are reading. And then it's S for scripture, and then O, it's observation. What are your observations? You would maybe say, I saw how forgiveness is unlimited, how I must learn to humble myself and forgive the next person. And then application, which is the A in the SOAP. How am I going to apply it in my life? Here I am with my partner or with a friend or with my children or with someone in my community. I haven't forgiven that person. How am I going to apply it? I'm taking it a step further and saying, I'm going to forgive that person for whatever they've done. And then the P is the prayer about it, or the action as well that you would take. I'm just trying to get the SOAP method to the normal book reading method, but as we say, it's about seeing things in action. Like if in Redeeming Love, forgiveness is a big future in the book, so we need to be able to say, what, I forgive this person, go the extra mile, act on it. So that's how you get benefits from a book, or how you would review a book and say, I believe that you have found a better version of yourself. You see, now it's all coming together. Now I'm able to forgive because I read in a book, written by Francine Rivers. I do not know her, but I read the chapter. I made sure that I observe and I made sure that I applied to my life and to the people around me. So yeah, that's what I can say about Redeeming Love. And all we can say, without adding any spoilers, make sure that it is in your book collection. It's a great book.
No, it's such a great book. And I see one of us here says they are also acquainted to Francine Rivers, saying she takes real Bible stories and adds some fiction and color to it. There's a lesson to every book with her. Her books have changed my life. When you talk forgiveness, when you talk love, she brought the stories from the Bible to reality for me. Every time I'm tempted to be angry with anyone, that Francine Rivers' Redeeming Love comes to mind. And maybe it's only me. My daughter was even fighting me because at any given time I'm reading Redeeming Love. I've read it many times, I go back to it. That's how much it has impacted me. And I was able to see that books have got a lesson and can shape your life, can make you prudent. So ladies, I think with this show, we are trying to say it should not only be about someone coming, teaching through a talk, but it should also be through you. You have it in your power. You've got the authority to walk into a bookshop and at any given time say, I want to learn more. I'm failing in this area, because a prudent person is one who takes decisions based on facts. So if you realize that at this time I'm struggling with this issue, there's nothing stopping you to going all out and looking for something within that. There is someone who has written about it, who has experienced it, and you learn from it. And that way you become a prudent woman. Gone should be the days where we wait, you don't even know what is coming on TV, but you are sitting there on the couch with your blanket, waiting and saying, I just want. We have the power, we have the authority to choose what comes into our minds so that we become prudent women. Ladies, I cannot thank you enough. Of course, our shows are all about bringing in awareness. I would like to believe our listeners have gotten awareness in terms of reading, the benefits of reading, and how we can make sure that we bring along the whole family. And, if we are to go deeper and talk about reviewing the books, I think we'll take the whole day. But I love something. These ladies came through and said they don't want to come here, talk about reading books, and not give away a book. They're forcing us, and it's voluminous. But I love it. a sin of omission. From a title, you can already see that you're going to be learning something.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see a book that you can read and not get anything. But I've seen a lot of television shows that we watch. And at the end of the day, when you try to think, you ask yourself, what have you learned? Some of them, they mislead us to become fictitious and expect fictitious things to happen in our lives because we tend to think that is real life when it's not. But reading, you can never go wrong because it even gives you a space to have your time and be settled and go through it. As I'm saying, I've read Redeeming Love many times, every time, and they're my favorite chapters. If I feel I'm falling back in terms of loving, I go back to it and I read it, and it encourages me. It keeps me grounded. I would like to believe. So this book, they said they want to give it away and a journal. So reading must go with journal. We said you read, it must be put into action. So there must be lessons that you take out as you read. I would like to request our producers are here monitoring on Facebook and YouTube. And those who are sending their responses on our WhatsApp number 081-358-8745. You can send them through. But I just want a very simple one, I would like you to tell us who is the founder of Finding Me Book Club. Just simple. This is just a giveaway. And the person who will win is one who will drop an answer immediately after I've said the question. So please go in and respond to the question, who is the founder of Finding Me Book Club? Of course, our time is gone. We would like to appreciate you, all of you who have been watching us. And I'm excited because, in this group, we've got people who are teachable and listen to requests. We've been requesting within the show to say, please join in on YouTube and subscribe. And I've seen quite a huge number going through to YouTube. We appreciate it and would like to say subscribe. Click that subscribe button so that you do not lose on programs that we have on Bold Moves Radio, because it's not only Prudent Women. We've got quite a number of exciting shows. We've got Love SA, where we have our Pastor Strike having a number of guests that he hosts who are doing so much to transform our nation. So we'd like you to subscribe so that you do not miss out on the things that we are doing in that space and a number of activities that we do through Bold Moves Radio. But we would like to say we appreciate you. And of course, the show will not be the show without our technical team. Pastor Strike, as I said last week, as we're celebrating our 6 months, he is always here with us. And I would like to say thank you to our co-producer, Nyeleti Baloyi. We appreciate you, girls, so much as you produce the different shows that we are having. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I would like to invite the founder, because we do not have time. You'll bear with me, ladies, the other ladies of the book club, not to give you time to say your bye-byes, but I would like to believe from Finding Me Book Club, if we have the final words from Sesintabi saying that will be enough. Sesintabi saying, what would you like to leave the Prudent ladies with tonight?
I believe that as prudent women, we are going to get books and start reading. The only way to start is to start. And I love what you're saying about redeeming love. There's a quote that says that a book, if you want to know how good a book is, you will go to it repeatedly and read it again and again. So it shows that it's a good book and it has impacted your life. So let's just get reading. It's just like exercise. Sometimes I will cheat on my skipping rope, on my running, but I know the good that will come out of it. And let us just also extend it to our next generation. Make sure that our children are also reading. I just want to narrate just a short thing that one lady said. She's from Room to Read. She said in her house, you have to find something to read concerning her children, whether it's a newspaper, but a day does not go by without you reading anything. So let's just be a reading nation. Our leaders are readers. You know, if you think of Nelson Mandela, he was reading. I mean, if you Google him, he was even writing things that he was reading. There are journals that are online about what he wrote and the book that came out. So really, if you want to advance in life and also increase, there is also this thing called net worth. What is your net worth? Increase your intellectual net worth so that when you sit across, like we were saying, you are able to speak of relevant things and be wise. So that's my parting shot.
Thank you so much, Prudent ladies. We had a great time and thank you. And would like to still say congratulations to Pastor Joylene. Continue to enjoy your your award. And of course, we are here behind you as the Abigails and we celebrate with you. Have a blessed evening, Prudent ladies. We shall meet next week, same time, 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock. And next week, if all things go according to plan, we are finishing the marital regimes. Get ready for the session on Umfazwe paper and get your questions, everything ready. We appreciate you. We shall announce the winner of the book during the week, but of course, even during the show, we shall announce. But whoever that we shall give this book will come to your book review. Ne?
Yes,
So you must know when you accept the book, you must know you will go for the book review when they are reviewing this book. Thank you so much. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. Thank you.